Hello, everybody.
Hi, Paul. How are you?
Good. How's everyone?
Good.
Hi.
I'm on the west side. Is it snowing on the east side?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. He wasn't here today.
So reading on him, and reading on Sue.
How's Henry tonight?
I think he's still connecting.
Yeah.
It's just about 6, huh?
Yeah, just waiting on Sue, and then we could probably get started.
Yep.
Hi, Sue. All right, I think we have everyone ready to get started. So let's call the meeting to order. Can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Syracuse,
Here.
Dr. McGrath,
Here.
Myers,
Here.
McCares,
Here.
Mr. Class,
Here.
Badges,
Here.
Weber,
Here.
Mr. Marquardt,
Here.
Mr. Morelli.
Here.
All right, this is our regular meeting of the Mayfield Village Planning and Zoning Commission, Monday, February 1st, 2021. This meeting has been duly noticed and will be held in accordance with Ohio Revised Code Section 121.22, specific to recent amendments made in light of the current COVID-19 declared emergency, House Bill 197, amended by House Bill 404. Under the orders of Governor DeWine, the Planning and Zoning Commission will be meeting remotely via electronic means. Because this is our first regular meeting of the year, this is our organizational meeting. So we will be electing our chairman, chairman pro tem, secretary, and planning and zoning rep to the Board of Appeals. Currently, I'm serving as chairman. Dr. McGrath is serving as the chair pro tem. Debbie Garbo is serving as the secretary, and I'm serving as the rep to the Board of Appeals. So at this time, I'd open it up to nominations. We could either do them separately or all together in one motion. Whoever wants to move.
I move that we return the same slate to our leadership since they did such a great job.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, and we'll close the nominations and go straight to roll call.
Mr. Syracuse,
Yes.
McGrath,
Yes.
Mr. Myers,
Yes.
Mr. Vicaris,
Yes.
Mr. Kless,
yes,
Mr. DeBadges.
Yes.
And motion carries. The next item on our agenda before we get to our proposals is the consideration of the meeting minutes from our last regular meeting, which was way back in September 8th, 2020. So at this time, I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
so moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Syracuse,
Yes.
Dr. McGrath,
Yes.
Mr. Myers,
Yes.
Mr. Vicaris,
Yes.
Mr. Kless,
Yes,
Mr. DeBadges.
I'm going to abstain because I wasn't at the meeting and I wasn't on the commission at the time.
Thank you. That motion carries. The minutes are approved. We have two proposals, but we're going to break this down into three for the voting purpose. We have the conditional use permit renewals we discussed in our workshop meeting. I'm not going to read through all of them. And we'll take all of them together except the first one. Number one is Ken's Auto Body. And so Al, there's no conflict of interest for him to vote for all of these. We're going to take that one separately. So at this time, I'd entertain a motion to approve the conditional use permit for Ken's Auto Body.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, so we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Syracuse?
Yes.
Dr. McGrath,
Yes.
Mr. Vicaris,
Yes.
Mr. Kless,
yes,
Mr. DeBadges,
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Abstain.
Okay, that motion carries. So at this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve all the other conditional use permits that expired in December 2020 as listed in the document we looked at for our workshop. I think a motion to approve all of the remainder of those conditional use permits to have a new expiration date of December 2022.
I will so move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Syracuse?
Yes.
Dr. McGrath,
Yes.
Mr. Myers,
Yes.
Vicaris,
Yes.
Mr. Kless,
yes,
Mr. DeBadges.
Yes.
Okay, the motion carries and those conditional use permits are renewed until December 2022. Now, the other proposal was not originally on our agenda, but I asked John Marquardt to be present for this meeting to discuss this. We had taken a vote. We need to have a planning and zoning representative to the Community Reinvestment Area Housing Council. Jim Farmer was serving in that role. I'm not sure if they actually took any action or had any meetings from last year when we elected him till now, but we need to elect someone else since he's no longer serving on this commission. So I asked John to be here. He's going to make a little presentation about this just to let everyone know what this is. And, then we could have some discussion, see if anyone wants to volunteer. But hopefully, I think they have an item we're going to be voting on in the near future. So we're hoping that we can get, if we can get someone to either volunteer or make a nomination tonight, it would be great if we can take a vote on that and appoint someone to replace Jim Farmer, so as to not hold up any action that comes before that commission. So with that being said, John, you want to go ahead and make your presentation?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for having me on short notice tonight. I've just got a couple brief slides to explain how we got here and what we're looking for this evening. This will sound familiar to most of you, but Mr. DeBadges is new to the commission, so I think it'll be valuable for him to hear this as well. About a year and a half ago, the state of Ohio approved our application to establish a community reinvestment area, which is basically a geographic area that allows us to offer property tax abatement as an economic development incentive to property owners that are either building new or performing renovations of their property. And as you can see on the slide there, we were approved way back in July 2019. As the chairman said, this committee that we're discussing tonight never actually had to convene. It's an ad hoc committee, so they just get together as needed, and there were no tax abatement deals to review. So we'll get to that in just a second. But we established the program back in July 2019. And the reason, as the chairman mentioned, the reason this is all sort of coming to a head this evening is that we're getting pretty close to having to review a tax abatement application. So we need to get this committee back in order. As you'll see on the next slide, just a brief summary of what the program can do. We can offer up to 15 years of up to 100% tax abatement on the value of the increase in property value. So in other words, if we offer this tool to a developer or property owner, they will never pay less in property taxes than they pay right now. We can only abate the increase in value. Per the program guidelines, it's also available to residents who are undertaking new construction or significant renovations as well. This is important to note too, when we established this program back in the summer of 2019, we had a great deal of discussion with the school district. Any project that offers 50% or more property tax abatement would require the blessing of the schools. We also agreed kind of with a handshake that we would present all deals to the schools, even if it's a 2% abatement, as a gesture of goodwill and partnership. So I'm in the midst of doing that now with this next proposal. And again, the Housing Council, it's called the Housing Council by state law. It's essentially a committee that reviews each of these economic development deals and then reviews the developer's performance annually once a deal is cut. On the next slide, you can see, hopefully, and it shows up well in red, that's the area that was established geographically a year and a half ago. It's essentially all of our commercial districts. It had to be contiguous, so there's a little bit of zigs and zags in there. But it's basically all of our commercial districts, as well as the apartments just south of Heinens. We thought it was perhaps wise to include that geography as well in the event they ever needed to perform a significant renovation or redevelopment. So that's the area we're talking about where we can offer tax abatement as a tool. And again, the reason this is all coming to a head, there you see, it should look familiar to you folks on the commission. The Holiday Inn has been under new ownership for about a year and a half. And they're have been pretty much since day one planning a significant renovation to the property. It has been scaled back a couple of times due to the economics chiefly driven by COVID. They're still moving forward with about a $2 million renovation. You know, the dollar figure is not set in stone just yet, but of that $2 million, about 1.2 million would be eligible for this abatement. So this is the deal that's in the works, and the reason we need to convene this committee. So on the very next slide, you'll see the requirements of this committee as established by state law. It's a 7-member committee. What we're talking about here tonight is one appointment by Planning and Zoning Commission. As the chairman had mentioned, this had been Mr. Farmer. Talked to him last week, and due to his health concerns, he's unable to serve on this committee either. So we need to refill that seat. 2 appointees by the mayor, 2 by council. Those have all been taken care of after tonight's, hopefully tonight's appointment. Those 5 members gather and appoint 2 residents to fill the final 2 seats. Once we convene, each of these members will serve a 3-year term. And again, they meet as needed. There won't be a regularly scheduled series of meetings. Once a deal comes along, they will gather to review it and recommend either approval or disapproval to village council. Once we have live applicants sort of in the pipeline, they would convene at least once a year, probably in March or April, to review the performance of each developer. So we're here tonight again to solicit one member of the commission to serve on this committee. And I appreciate you hearing me out, and I'm happy to answer any questions or, take any comments or advice that you may have. And I'm happy to field questions at this point. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Markwart. Does anyone have any questions? Okay. Is anyone interested in serving on the Housing Council?
I promise I won't work you too hard. But as you can see, I mean, it's been a year and a half and we haven't had the need to meet yet. So we're definitely not talking about a significant workload if that was of concern.
Doesn't sound like it's that much of a time commitment. I would make a recommendation myself, but all the other commission members I feel would be very good serving in this housing council. So I was hoping someone might want to volunteer, but if not, we're going to have to, I think, discuss this and see if who would fit best here. Okay. Anyone have anything they'd like to say?
I'm the new guy, so I just want to try to get my feet wet with P&Z before and I'm doing civil service too, but it looks like a good project, but I'd just like to get more acquainted with what I'm doing on this commission first.
Okay,
I
thank you.
guess I could volunteer.
All right,
Does that help?
that helps. We know you do a good job on that, so yeah, if you'd like to volunteer, then at this time I would entertain a motion. Unless someone else wants to volunteer, we have discussion. I'd entertain a motion to nominate Dr. McGrath as our P&Z rep to the Community Reinvestment Area Housing Council.
I would move to nominate Dr. McGrath.
I second that.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay. All right, can we have a roll call then?
Mr. Serkis?
Yes.
Dr. McGrath?
Yes, I guess.
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
Mr. Vicaris?
Yes.
Mr. Kless?
Yes.
Mr. Badges?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Sue, for volunteering.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it, and looking forward to hearing back how that goes and how this is going to be moving forward. But anyways, that's everything
Thank you
we
very
have.
much.
Thank you, Mr. Markwart, for presenting tonight. Does anyone have any other business they'd like to discuss? If not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Move in a second. Can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Serkis?
Yes.
Dr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
Mr. Vicaris?
Yes.
Mr. Kless?
Yes.
Mr. Badges?
Yes.
All right, meeting adjourned. Everyone stay safe, stay healthy.
Yep.
See you soon.
Good night, everybody.